WSTX 970 AM.
Yes.
Oh, no, I was moving to it, but I didn't register what it was.
Ready?
Here we go. Greetings to the people of the United States Virgin Islands. Welcome to Workforce Waves. Today, well, I'm Sonia Boyce, Sana Joseph Smith. Happy Thursday.
Good morning. I know I'm short today, but this is Lori Christian.
Well, thank you for joining us. And in the studio with us, our guest, Pastor Julie Reimer of Twigs, Teaching Women in God's Service, and Kelly Simon of People Solution. Ladies, can you introduce yourselves to our listening and viewing audience?
Sure. I'm Kelly Simon. I own People Solutions Worldwide, based here on St. Croix and serving people in the Virgin Islands and beyond. My family, we moved here about 19 years ago. My parents were here for quite some time. They now go back and forth. My mom was the principal at St. Mary's, and my dad a builder. So children are born here, and we love the Virgin Islands. People Solutions was born out of a need to help business owners with their people. So you may be the best doctor, lawyer, but you really want someone that can attend to your employees and make sure you're doing right by employee policies, employee engagement practices. And so we help businesses that need maybe don't have a full-time in-house HR, but they need our help, or companies that are in other places and need some assistance with their Virgin Islanders. So that's what we do.
Welcome.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Pastor Julie Reimer, Twigs Ministry, Inc. Actually, it's the umbrella to the Worship Center Church of God Seventh Day. But under that umbrella, we do have the Twigs Women component and chaplaincy, along with Clergy for Safe Cities. Our ministry, of course, provide regular spiritual help and, assembly. But mainly our organization, where we have under the chaplaincy and the Clergy for Safe Cities, is to help survivors and victims of gun violence, domestic abuse, and the likes. Currently, we also do like financial management training and any other training that's necessary to help navigate through, disasters and various difficulties and challenges with support and resilience.
Well, thank you for that. And I know you work closely with the American Job Center.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little about some of the things that you do?
Well, we have a every Tuesday outreach support inspirational hour, and we do that additionally every fourth Tuesday of the month. We work with the American Job Centers, opening our doors so individuals can come. They do the pop-ups, and we give them the opportunity for, developing and promotion at their workplace, or if they don't have a job, affording them the ability to strengthen their skills and give opportunities for people to be able to become financially better off, or even in their own difficulties and challenges of life. It has been very beneficial. We've seen people, improve themselves and be, give themselves a more awareness of their own identity. So it has been an excellent experience and support group for them.
Wonderful. Great that you're doing that, because especially now we certainly do need it. So Kelly, with your human resources skills and the fact that you've done a lot of work, not just locally, but internationally, tell us some of the things that you found really impactful here in the territory in terms of getting people ready for in the world of employment, workforce development.
Yeah, I would say what's really wonderful about our environment is the connections that you can make, right? And with being in a community where you really are connected to everyone, it's less than 6 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what's wonderful for our children are born here and grew up here. They've had so many opportunities to do. It's not just academic learning, but life skills learning, being in nature, being around other adults. So many of my friends, if I travel to see family in the States, they're like, wow, your children can really talk to adults and they're really participating. So I think what we're doing here is educating the whole child in a way that's very different than anywhere else. And so I think with connection and with just by being in a place that is, you have to be resourceful in a lot of different ways. And so I think that's helping to educate our children. And then our workforce, there's so many opportunities now, not just on the island, but through the different educational opportunities with UVI Cell, with other places. It does sometimes feel a little daunting, but if you just reach out or start asking questions and making connections, then there's a lot of educational opportunities for us.
Sure. Definitely. I would, it's when you said less than 6 days, just text somebody. I was like, hey, People Solutions, you should look them up. Literally just did that. And so I think that given our, the temperature of our environment and what's all happening, I think it's really important. One of the phrases you just, or, comments you just made about the resources and being resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to dig into that, now as a community and really try to navigate. And, I think we mentioned in our pre-conversation, which should have probably been our show, right? Was, just having calm and chaos. And I think part of our calm and chaos is being resourceful, as you mentioned, and that's a gift. Again, I'm not going to use the word resilient because I'm over it. But as Crucians, and that we all are here, that, we have that in us, that resourceful. I think I'm going to use that.
It's a good one.
I'm going to use
resourcefulness.
And I'll coach you on it. I'll give you credit.
Okay, thank you. I'll take it.
We're resourceful. Yes.
So with that, we outside, we were talking about the what ifs, the possibilities, because it's like 23,000 Virgin Islanders across the territory who are being impacted by the EBT. Was more, but it was a lot.
And that's a direct hit. That because there's so much indirect fallout with everything going on.
Yeah.
Yes, and not just that; it's the trickle down effect of it. We have businesses, the mom and pop stores. It's just
the federal employees.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
So there's a lot. I think I hate to quote a stat, and I don't have the exact number, but I think it was like over 40,000 people locally are being impacted in some way. And when we have a census at 80,000,
okay,
you really start to see what that means. And so it's not just your EBT and SNAP recipients; it's those, middle income, middle bracket families where, a parent works for the federal government and they are all being impacted. And so it's really a time for us to, start digging into them resources and, moving forward.
And, we've had a couple of shows and we talked about, we've been talking about this issue where we were trying not to scare people. But because this is a conversation we've been having in some of our planning sessions. So the what ifs, and that's the question on the table. The thing we have to start putting in people's mind, the what ifs, not to frighten people, but just so people can take the necessary steps and the preparation that they need to. That what if the system doesn't come back on in the way that we're accustomed to? What do we do now? What is the shift we were, and what if it doesn't come back on? What if it doesn't come back on in the time we expect it to come back on? What does that, what do we have to do? So we were talking about the next 5 moves. So can you share those 5 moves that, and ladies, you're also welcome to share those 5 moves.
Kelly, just don't forget your quote. You had a really good one.
Okay,
on that one.
I wrote it down.
No
I wrote it
pressure.
down.
Yeah, so what would be your next 5 moves, everyone?
Well, we were talking earlier, and the overarching one is Pastor Reimer. You should speak to the absolute first move.
Absolutely.
All right, I would say the role of faith would be very essential, because we as a group, as body of individuals, that's what has kept us you know, when we didn't have a lot of things, because we have had, you know, so many catastrophe disasters. So I would say the role of faith would play, you know, a major of great importance to the people of our territory. Because having that faith, you know, grounding, it will enable them to have a more, you know, relax, as we were saying, a more control over things that they don't have the control over, that it's going to get better. And also trusting, as a pastor, that's the only thing I can really say, in God, because I know I'm seeing how it has worked, or in whatever spirit being that they, you know, they believe in. And so having faith that it's going to get better, it's going to motivate you to move into the other areas that are essential for our recovery, for our strengthening, and for the betterment. So I would definitely put faith in that, you know, in that grounding.
Absolutely. And you know, that is the overarching. So that is the first step. And the second step and the third step, you know, it needs to be the foundation. But also, we were talking, I think it's really important to center yourself. So there is going to be chaos. There is chaos, right? There's chaos all the time in whatever's happening, right? But if you can stay grounded and centered and mindful, and to stop the spiral of the negativity, the thoughts. The quote I shared was, "Don't believe everything you think." So you actually do have
You gotta say it one
control.
more time.
Don't believe everything you think.
There you go.
So you actually do have control of your thoughts. You do, and you could just play with it, practice it. Like, think of a negative thought, and then watch what happens, right? But if you turn it around, or you say, nothing's ever going to get better, right? Nothing's ever going to get better. It's proof because this thing didn't get better for this person or that person. Or you can say, nothing's ever going to get better, except I woke up today. Let me look out the window. Let me take a walk. There's a beautiful bird. Look for the aha moments that are in every day, because they are in every day. Then we also talked about definitely trying to, so be mindful, you know, get out in nature, enjoy the water. It is so grounding to go sit at a beach where you have the water coming up and down and the rocks.
Paying to come down, and we have it.
Some people never have it. It's a screensaver that they look at, and it's our backyard. So
Oh wow, I like that.
then I also think you can take some time to upskill, right? So it is the, you know, going on the internet and taking one of those classes, you know, for free. I was just saying, one of my favorite places these days is the library in Christiansted. It's cold AC, it's quiet. All around me is knowledge and information, and I can get there. And their hours are 9 to 6, Tuesday through Friday. Well, now I'm not a spokesperson for the library, but they're open more often than you think. So I would definitely take advantage of that. And then it's the connections. So, you know, you present yourself everywhere you go, like in the grocery store. You're going to know somebody that knows somebody that's hiring. I was just saying, at least 8 of my companies right now are hiring. People are hiring. So work on that resume and make your connections and think good thoughts.
Can we dig into that since we're talking about next steps in your HR professional? What are some of the areas that those that might need to pivot now that you're seeing are in high demand? Like, what are some of the skills you would recommend that would put someone in a competitive place to be able to get one of those positions for those companies that you work with?
A lot of the companies are looking for people that are really great at customer service. So
You mean a smile will give me a job?
A smile, get to work, I don't know, early. You know,
what a concept, to be early, to be on time,
and to be professional. And I'm talking to myself too, you know, like, if you walk to a place with a smile and just a willingness to help, I don't like that term. It's above my pay grade. No, you work, you do what you can do, you step up, and those are the things. There are more courses you can take, etc. But I think it just starts with that.
Definitely.
So Pastor Rana, what about because you do a lot of financial literacy, right?
Yeah, because that was just like that, a light bulb went into my head, because that's the first, when she asked that question, that was on my mind. Because I serving as a banker, I was a bank manager for so many years. I worked with the bank for 29 years. So customer service is definitely something every business needs. So regardless if you don't have skills to do any of the work itself, everybody needs a face at the front. Everybody needs somebody to answer the phone. Every business, something that every business need is our service, the way we project. And also working for UVI, one of the things we teach in hospitality is customer service. How do we enhance or grow our business is through our service and great, excellent service. So for me, that is number one.
So what would you say to to Virgin Islanders across the territory? Because Governor Bryan and the 36th legislature, they have they're giving the is it half of the benefits. So what would you say to people who are going to receive not the full amount, but half of it, and which I'm sure everybody is so grateful because
Half is better than none.
So how do you speak to them, especially mothers with children, people who are taking care of the elderly who can't do for themselves? What would you say to them? What would be that impactful message you want to give to them about the finances?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because even driving here today, I read that that notice this morning, and for me, I can only speak to my experience. And for me, what that looks like is the first thing I would say is get what you need first. So and I'm saying that might be a little touchy subject, because I remember, and Lori remembered, that I do sessions on how to survive on a $25 budget. Actually, that's one of my things. And so I would encourage the audience, listen, we did not know we were getting this, we're getting it. And like you said, we are thankful. And so I believe in planning and budgeting with your $5. If we would take the time, and I know some of the bills would not get done, but that's where, bank has more, like they give you time to pay.
Yeah.
So I would say the first thing is to take it and consider the essentials. What is necessary? How much can I spend on certain things? Because this might be a little funny, but I was coming this morning and picking up my nails. So do I fix these too, or do I buy milk? Yeah, know what I mean? Yeah. And so the essentials would be the first thing. What is necessary? Should we look at our medication? Should we look at what are the immediate needs that are necessary? And the other thing I would say is one of the things you spoke highly about, I can't remember which one of us did, saying that
we're all one family at this point.
Our pride, or
yes,
don't feel bad to seek help or to ask support. Because to me, those two go together. If you have a need, and that's where community comes. How we used to do it back in the days, that we share the loaf.
Or you have flour, I have sugar.
Yeah,
we have Johnny cake.
Yes. So that's what I would say, the essentials, because I feel, and it's not that I'm, casting any blame, but I just find sometimes our priorities are not set right. And it's because of how we were accustomed to do things. And like you said, we know it was coming next month. We know it would come the other month. And we know we're good for a year or 6 months where we're okay, and we would spend. So I would recommend highly that we take time, these individuals, and hey, I'm available to help you navigate on how to do this right and put the essentials and prioritize.
Can I jump in here too? I have a financial literacy nonprofit, Strategic Solutions Network, and one of the things that we often share with families who are experiencing unexpected reductions is to go back to bulk meals. I know these are basics, but it's important because we're used to, as you mentioned, Pastor, buying these quick fix meals. But we have to use that same TikTok, that same Instagram, that same Facebook to come up with your recipes and go back old school. Go back and buy the rice and cook it from scratch. Go back and buy the flour, buy the sugar. It sounds basic,
but
that will allow you to stretch those dollars that were meant to be for 2 weeks into a month. And again, allow you to partner with other people to make those big batch, the arroz con pollo, the one big one pot pilau, I think they call it in other cultures, and those big one pot meals. These are basics, but I just want to trigger folks to, I think what Kelly was saying before is that there's calm and there's chaos, right? Just like we did during COVID, we had all kinds of new bakers, all kinds of new gardeners and all that kind of stuff. And so I think some of those basic skills that we just kind of take for granted. We need to get back to doing those.
But we don't want our businesses in the territory, because our economy cannot afford to take a hit, because businesses, they pay taxes, they hire people. So how do, as you three are business owners, so how do you see that? What would your message be to businesses across the territory in terms of prices, or how would we recommend they work with the community right now in terms of pricing and of their services, of what they offer?
So if I could jump in out before we get into the basis, one thing I would challenge the business owners is to support who have supported you.
Mm-hmm.
Many of these same federal employees that are impacted, these same persons who receive assistance, they work and they participate, they purchase items from you. We need to start thinking about, as business owners, how do we give back?
Mm-hmm.
What are some things we can do? And it doesn't necessarily have to be, a dollar connected, but what can you do to help and support someone? Can you, combine efforts with another company to be able to support, families that are impacted? So that's the first step I would say, is that I've learned from my businesses that people remember when I was there for them, and it's not always me writing a check.
Yes.
The second thing I would say is that, this, just as individuals are experiencing that constriction, so are a lot of businesses, right?
Yes.
Because even though you may not do business directly with the federal government, somebody that you do business with is doing business with them, and it just kind of goes from there.
True.
And so we need to start, tightening our belts as well. Are you using up that inventory that's been sitting on the shelf for a while? How can you move that? Do you have services that are your go-to that you just kind of neglected because something else was, fancy and easier to do? Do you need to go back to offering some of those services so you establish another, line of income? And then look out to other countries. We can see the BVI from the USVI. There are other countries in the Caribbean, across Europe. I love that Kelly's business says global. She was like, don't be fooled that I'm sitting in St. Croix. I can help you. I was in Switzerland last week, guys. Look at how things work, right? Why can't she be doing business with folks in Switzerland? So we need to start thinking about, okay, America is having a challenge right now. The US, I should say, America is having a challenge, United States, but there are many places in Europe, in the continental Africa, they have growing economies that are crazy over there. So maybe this is an opportunity for local businesses to figure out, who else can I do business with that may not be impacted or connected to this?
Awesome.
So they're like, that's it.
that was great.
Yeah, amen. That's an amen right there.
Yes.
Pastor, we talked about faith. Faith comes in so many different ways, and what would that? Because this is the critical point that we're in right now. It's kind of like ground zero for us here, because of so many people, the wide spectrum of people, of things that we're dealing with. We never thought that the world would go into a shutdown. During the pandemic, it happened. We're watching what unfolded with Jamaica, and we're praying for the people of Jamaica, because we've been in situations with hurricanes, and we know what it's like, and the devastation. And I look at I was watching some of the reels, the footage from the scenes, the devastation. I had to just pray for Andrew Holmes, the Prime Minister, because that leadership at this time, that would demand so much out of him. Because imagine a leader, and you're in a helicopter, and you're flying over a country that you're supposed to be at the helm, and you're watching this devastation, and you don't even know where is that leadership going to come from, and how you're going to speak life into your people, or bring some kind of normalcy back to your country. What would you say to our leaders here in the territory in terms of faith? Because this is their proving ground. this is going to either is going to say who we are as a people, and the leadership that we have, it's going to test people on so many levels if the shutdown continues. So, what would you say to our leaders in terms of having that faith, if we call it spirituality or however you're gonna call it? Where, how do they find it at this time? Because this is their proving ground.
You know, and hearing you speaking, we can say faith, and faith can mean, like you said, so many different things to many different people. But what I would say to to leaders, and in every aspect, is the art of patience and not taking things personally. Because people are angry.
Yeah.
They're gonna come to you and call you names. They're gonna say things, and when a person, I'm speaking from experience because we do chaplaincy and go around, and when a person is hurting, even if you go to like one of those gun violence scenes, when we show up on the scenes, they say things to you,
Yeah.
and you say, "Well, I'm here to help you," and why are you doing this to me? We have to be so careful. And so I would say to don't look at the things that are being hurled at you, and be patient through the process. Because if you don't have that, temperament, it can easily lead you to be the not want to help. So you have to put your personal feelings aside, and really that's where faith in that it's going to get better. Because even as a leader yourself, sometimes truthfully, can we just say we really don't know what's going to happen?
Yes.
Because the leaders
As a
themselves
leader, you
have,
need to say that. Yeah.
you have questions yourself. And so, when a person comes to you as the governor or as anyone in authority, and they ask you that question, the assurance, confirmation, affirmations, we're going to get it through. And again, I'm a firm believer of scripture or whatever affirmation people have. It has gotten me through. And I've seen it at work in the pandemic and in various, even when we did the last hurricane, how people recovered. I teach military resilience because of my certification. And so when you tell people and they see day by day, and again, you take it a day at a time. And so for that leader to be able to have patience, to show up and to be present. Don't isolate yourself because you are okay. I mean, that's just me. Because, some people would person say, well, you don't have that need. And so we have to put ourselves out there and be present with the people. So that would be my words out to the leader. Don't shy away. Like in a hurricane, show up. Like you said, the prime minister is going around, because you need to know what's happening. And I would also recommend to have, I don't really want to call it town halls, because that ends up different, But I believe, like, for example, this next Friday, we're going to have a
Community
prayer vigil.
conversation.
Yes. Or have a prayer watch or something, that whatever ritual or ceremony that would enhance the overall community, I would endorse that. But I think patience would play a great key, and the role of faith, meaning having faith that, and showing and demonstrating that it's going to get better. We've been through this before, and we did make it. And past experience, I like to say, like past victories or your former battles, share that to say, listen, this is how we made it through. Because sometimes people need proof of your words.
Right.
So that's where I'd go. I mean, along with a lot of other things, but I would also begin educating people, like the financial ways and how to self-help, teach them how to do. And one of the big things, and I know we're not into that, and maybe that's not the conversation, but the small things, like, for example, we've adopted the Lorraine Village community. And I know that's off the record, but it's an example. And so they've allowed us to have a piece of ground that these children can grow their watermelons, their different things and stuff like that. So start with little things at the house, things that will generate and things that we will need, because everybody will eat tomatoes, everybody will eat watermelons, everybody will do these things. And so you teach stuff that would be able to fruit. Oh God,
I heard one breadfruit
could do so many things. Don't start this conversation.
No lies. I just learned that. Now, mind you, I know about the breadfruit vodka. Sorry, Pastor, but I know about the vodka and how it makes that.
That's okay.
But-
Listen, we live here. Come on now.
My husband, he was sharing, he does all kind of stuff with it. But they were saying like one breadfruit tree
Mhm.
could feed a family for
Mhm.
umpteen years because of the different ways you could do it. It's almost like a potato.
Yes.
So you could mash it,
Yes.
fry it, all this
Stone
kind of
is
stuff.
breadfruit
I go
bun.
get
Yes.
a breadfruit.
The breadfruit
pancake.
fries would my
Yes.
husband started the bistro and he would have the breadfruit fry that would sell out so fast.
Mhm. Yeah, I love them. I love
Mhm.
them. But this is a great part too. Like, how can we, move through this? While there may not be jobs that would be able to pay, but what can we do with our hands? And things like that. I would encourage some kind of more practical trainings and stuff like that. Actually, that's what we're heading with Laurie, thankfully, and trying to help. Especially, I heard her said it earlier with the children. Starting from them, because then that way they learn. When we don't have, we take a lemon and we make juice because we can't go and buy juice, and like you really spoke about earlier.
Can I share on that? Go ahead, Lori.
I want to piggyback for a second. So, hitting the leadership question, faith without works is dead.
Amen.
Okay, and so we are going to be known by our fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about you, about us, it's about being of service.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a great leader is one who is ready to serve.
I agree.
And during this time, it's important. I thought about SERV, crisis emergency response communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for leaders to manage the message
Exactly.
Yes.
and don't work in silos.
Mhm.
Give the information, manage the information, and make sure that it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
People
Don't
need,
hide it.
yeah, people need accuracy.
Transparency.
Like people, we're saying we don't want to freak people out, but people are already freaked.
Transparency.
They
And
need
I
to
also
hear
think that
something.
the individuals need to make sure that they are taking the responsibility of going to look for that information.
Mhm.
I don't know when this started happening, but we do this thing where, well, I didn't hear anything. Well, where did you look? Well, nowhere. Like if it doesn't magically appear in their lap, then the information wasn't out there. But we also need to realize that there's an accountability on both sides. That
Mhm.
information needs to come out, and we as individuals, as business owners, as those who need information, need to
Mhm.
seek it. Like if you get those two in line, we could do some magic.
We do a lot with people's solutions with making sure everything is clear and there is accountability. So one thing we do with businesses that join on is, do you have job descriptions? Does everybody know what we're asking of you? Do you have?
Do you know how many businesses don't?
They don't. And what are your goals for your team? Well, I don't know. Okay, it's on the
We want to
employee.
make money.
The employee needs to. The employee.
That's it.
You have to empower people to take some ownership.
Mhm.
And so many times I've met with people and I'm like, okay, what are your goals? Well, my boss needs to give me my goal. No, you, the employee, needs to come and we'll set up the timing and do it, whatever, have the check-ins. But the first step is the employee says what they want out of the experience, and then they sit with the business owner, and the business owner says, well, let me help you learn more about this if this is what you're interested, or that. So a lot of that goal setting and just making sure things are clear and it's accountable, and it's companies called People Solutions. We want to help our people, in every way.
So with that being said, we have people who never worked a day in their life. So now that they're faced with this opportunity to enhance their skills, to whatever that dream is inside of them that they've dreamed of, they defer because this is what they've known all their life, right? So how do you speak life into someone right now who's listening that this is just it's just a new door opening, that there are opportunities here in the territory that you can, if you get a job, how do you, that getting into the mindset of work?
Well, I wrote this down before coming in because it's in my son's room. And it's just 1 degree. It's this quote that I'm sure you guys have heard. It's the extra degree. So at 211 degrees, water's hot. At 212 degrees, it boils. With boiling water comes steam. With steam, you can power a train. So just take one step, 1 degree, one thing different tomorrow than what you did today. I just had a conversation with a friend, and she wants to do her consulting business. She's a physical trainer, and she's like, I'm scared to go into businesses and hang my flyer. I'm like, well, then just put down a list of businesses, that you think that you could hang your flyer in. And so she put down that. I'm like, just walk through the door tomorrow, and then the tomorrow after that, and hang the flyer. Like, you've walked through 1,000 doors in your life. You can walk through a door and hang a flyer. So it's just believing yourself, and don't put this huge mountain of work on your shoulders. Just one step. Make a list, get organized. This is what I need to do if I want to be an RN. All right. I've never been a nurse. What's the first thing you need to do? Talk to someone that's an RN. Find out what you need to do, and then take the next step and the next step. So we can all get there one step at a time.
Exactly. And there are challenges to overcome. I think that no and obstacles instill a fear. And as an entrepreneur, I guess I just don't understand that, because we get told no all the time. And so you just get so used to it. I'm just waiting for my yes. And so I love that you said that it's just 1 degree, is one step. And even, one place may say no, you can't have the flyer, but somebody will say yes, right? So you just keep looking for your yes and not focusing on the no. So that's a bright young man you have. I'm going to go raise him so well.
Well, I put the quote in this room. But that's where it sits.
That's a smart mama. That's a smart mama. Very nice.
So, Pastor Reimer, how can organizations like Twigs partner with the government agencies to help right now in this instance with what's happening?
I am a firm believer of doing things, the practical things, even in my role of faith or spirituality, because at the end of the day, faith without works is dead, right? And so one of the things I enjoy doing is assisting in improving your skills. There's a famous story in the Bible that's very personal to me, and it's what you have in your hands, with the widow who said that's all she had. And so for me, I always look, especially in our women's empowerment, and I do it so also with men, is to see what you have. Because a lot of the issues we have is what we want to become. But again, as Kelly said, is what we have right now. So if you want to be, for example, you want to be some big chef in a big hotel, what do you have right now? Maybe it's starting with tamarind balls with the tamarind tree in your yard. So it's these.
Or the breadfruit.
Oh my God, I forgot. Breadfruit balls and tostones. And maybe you can be known for that. And so a lot of times the comparison issue is a problem, or the competition, whereas you have unique gifts and talents. So what I would consider is we would open our doors, have those training sessions, whatever they need, because I also work for you, as a consultant for UVICEL. So I worked there before COVID. So with that and my banking experience, I would partner with them to provide life skills. To, and identity sessions, they work really well, especially with the group that is, struggling, because now
Expand on that, Pastor, when you say identity sessions.
Okay.
So our listeners know what you mean.
All right. We do have an empowerment session. We keep every first Saturday of the month at 4:00. We sometimes go to the community centers, or we do it at our church facilities, where we allow women with any issue. So what we do, if a person is struggling in any area, sometimes maybe how they feel about their weight, or their certain things that's going on with them, or they question their femininity or anything of that sort, we bring life to their lives. And so what we do, we empower them with work, workshops, or any seminars or anything we have. We also have an annual retreat where we get you a chance to love on yourself. We also teach self-care, how to develop, certain things about yourself. And again, because we work with domestic abuse, that we teach you how to, be mindful of being abused, and the different categories where it's not just somebody banging on you. And so these sessions enable you to feel fulfilled, and to be also able to move forward for, because I can speak of myself when I was told that I'd never be anybody, and by the grace of God, bank manager, chaplaincy, have my doctorate, and we can do it. So I use myself a lot as an example that you can. So we use those identity sessions to help you find yourself and to be proud of who you are, and that you don't need to compare yourself. There's no rival. You are the unique you. So,
So how would someone listening right now, either one of you, get in touch with you to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that you have within your organization or your business?
My numbers. We also I have a Facebook page, and
Sure.
I would do so now. My cell number is 340-643-8423. And you can also reach me, twigsministry@gmail.com. Twigs with the S. Twigs like
One
the
G or
twigs of,
two G's?
yeah, twigs with one G, like the twigs of a tree. TWIGSMINISTR1RRY@gmail.com. But also too, we provide services.
Where are you located?
We're located at number 1B Hamburg. If you know where we have the cross, not we have the cross, Community Baptist Church. Where you come straight off from HH Diocese Adventist Church heading south, and just after you pass Hamburg, on your right, Community Baptist Church. We're up on top of the hill, past Community Baptist Church. But we also have available services of counseling and group sessions. If you want to come together as a group, we also available to do that as well.
Nice.
And we're a small team of 3 consultants. People Solutions Worldwide.com is the website, and you can email jobs@peoplesolutionsworldwide.com, or my cell phone 340-514-8326. At this point, we don't have a physical site. We go into our clients and office in there. But yeah, we would love to hear from business owners or people that are looking for opportunities. Because of what we do, we have a pretty good eye on the market, and we're able to link people up with opportunities.
Great.
Nice.
I have a question. Do you have any remote work opportunities?
We do. We do have some remote work opportunities. In fact, I'm hiring.
I might have some connections.
Okay.
I'm texting my own. I was like, I got somebody.
So yeah,
Powerhouse.
yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
1 degree of separation. Look at that.
One degree of separation, and to that earlier point, whatever your niche is, whatever your passion is, if you whatever it is, if it's making tamarind balls, there's a whole world of opportunity for you if you just give it all, you do it your best, especially
And those ship well.
yeah. Oh, there you go.
So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. You guys have been inspiring. Ladies, thank you. If no one has told you today,
Thank you.
I'm thanking you today.
And you have inspired us as well.
I know.
I am glad for the opportunity.
Yes,
I
it's
like
been,
I like connecting.
it's been a great opportunity.
Yeah. So what is the teachable moment in this? What would y'all consider it is?
So I've been thinking about this again. All I can do is pull on my experience as a business owner, and even I'm a banker too. That's my first career as a commercial lender. And one thing that I was taught very early is that always look for your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And as a business owner, whether there's chaos, whether it's the market is up, the market is down, you got a Republican, a Democrat, a purple person, a blue one. Look for your opportunities. And so I think that is what I would, share, is that no matter what your situation, where you are in this whole spectrum, there is an opportunity for you, and you just have to find it.
I would say expect good intent, from our businesses, from our employees, and really control what you can control. So no matter what else is going on, you can show up and with a good attitude, and whatever else is happening on the outside, just be mindful of that. You're living within your body, within yourself. So make it a joyful place.
Nice.
I like that. Also add to it is a state of gratitude.
Oh, yes.
Be thankful in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite quotes is be present in put your presence in the present. Like, really,
Nice.
as much as we want to look ahead, stay in the moment and see what can happen in the moment and be fulfilled in the moment. What I also took from here is that, wow, we have great people in the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening to everybody here, and I'm saying, wow, what good connections. And so I would like the people to know that there are people who are there for them.
Yes.
I think that's important to know that they're not alone.
I think that we're looking around and we're seeing gloom and doom. But for me, the silver lining is that we're being forced from silos
Yeah.
to community,
Correct.
right? And this is long needed. So I see this as the phoenix is rising from the ashes.
Show with all these.
Yeah, let's be present. Let's show up.
So as the Phoenix rises,
Wait,
right?
don't skip yourself. What are your thoughts?
The teachable moment.
Yeah.
The teachable moment is that's my next question. That's empathy and compassion. How do we find it within, bring it from wherever parts of ourselves that for people who you may not be experiencing that part of the storm, you're in the storm, you may not be experiencing that specific.
You're not in the eye.
Storm. Yes, you're not in the eye,
Mm-hmm.
but the winds are still around you. You're feeling the effects, but not as much as a certain segment of the community.
Yeah.
So how do you bring that? Because it's about compassion and empathy. Because I've been reading some of the comments from people.
Yeah.
It's like
There's a lot of judgment on
Yeah.
those that receive benefits.
Yeah.
There's
So
a lot of
how do you-
judgment on them.
how do you now find that compassion within yourself to be able to have empathy for people who were thrown in a situation, and sometimes they don't even know the difference because this is all they know.
Correct.
Nobody ever sat down and said to them, there is a different way to doing it, and this not just say, well, you can do better, but this is how you do it. Step one, step. Some people are just
Here are the
like that.
resources.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
want
just don't know.
to walk them through the process. This is what you do, step one, step two, step three, and they don't have that. So
Everybody
how do
doesn't
you-
have a mama giving quotes in their bedroom.
We are.
Please, no, go ahead.
Well, we are what we learn, right?
Yeah.
And so, I do that because that was done for me. I think because of things like these opportunities, these shows, people are being educated all the time.
Yeah.
So yes, it might be an instance where you're in a spot that you do need to receive the help. Some of the wonderful people here do help with the food banks and other, the other things we were talking about coming in. And this might just be your time to give to that or to receive from that. And you're going to be in that cycle at some point in your life where you need extra help, right? And so I think it's being aware of what's going on. And even if you don't need to be receiving at this point, give, right?
Yes.
And then know as the receiver, okay, it's your job, it's your time to receive. And that's okay.
Yep.
It's okay to be in the receiving line right now, because when you're back on the upswing, because life's a cycle,
Correct.
then it'll be your time to give. And so everyone has to kind of play that part.
Awesome.
I like the comparison of being a body. Like even right now, I'm sitting here. This thumb is hurting really bad. Although it's just the thumb, but because it's attached to my arm, I feel it every time I have to lift my finger. So I believe if we see ourselves as one community, if we see ourselves as one, that if that person doesn't have that, we shouldn't be sitting on the sidelines. Like if our eyes decide that it's not going to work, we're not going to see. So I love that. That is one of the most, one of the things that I take there, that we are one people. And so communicating and acting out and trying to make sure that we help each other and see others that are less fortunate with the eyes of love, and having that compassion, bowels of compassion, and showing mercy and grace, because we never know. It may not be that form, but we never know when we would need one of those same people to be there. Because, believe it or not, theirs may be in that area, but there are some things that they are very skillful and good in, that we can benefit from. So if we see ourselves as the body, the hands, we will not if your finger hurt, you try to fix it up. You try to help it. So if
Yeah.
we see ourselves as one community,
Mm.
as we all in this and we are all suffering, it's just like in the hurricane. Your house may not be blown up, but mine may be. So you can't sit in your house and say, well, that's not me.
Mhm.
You know, we've seen it in so many situations when this person's son or person got killed, then, you know, then it turned on you, or you lost your mother or your father or somebody. We all feel it because we are in life. And if we can look at ourselves as one body and one community and understand what affects one affects us all.
Mhm.
Nice. All right.
I feel like, I don't know, quotes today, but
Y'all just
I
been
was
cranking them out
I
all
know.
morning. So go
I-
ahead.
I want to say no man is an island.
Mm.
Mhm.
Pun
Um,
intended.
That came to my
Mhm.
mind when you said
Yes,
that.
yes.
Mhm.
Was
And,
always on my mind.
you
too.
know, I'm thinking, I don't know, is it Diana Ross, Reach Out and Touch?
Mm.
Somebody's
Somebody's
hand, right?
hand. Oh yeah.
And it's always the right time to do the right thing. That's right.
Yes.
That's what I tell my daughter on a regular.
Yes.
So as we're getting ready to wrap up, because this conversation has
Really good.
been so stimulating and
Yes.
just, you know, it makes us, it's food for thought, so to
Mhm.
speak. So we shared a lot of different ideas and things that we as a community can do. So each of you, what is that one thing you would tell a Virgin Islander right now, as because we're all being impacted,
Yep.
and we don't know how long this is going to last. And as we began, we started talking about the what ifs. What if we wake up one day and there's a new form of government? What if what we're accustomed to is no longer, you know, afforded to us? What if we have to start in a whole new direction of how we live each day? You know, and these are just what ifs, because we just say, what, plan for the worst, prepare as if it's the. So how do you, even though the scenario may be very unlikely to happen, but we still have to make sure that we challenge ourselves every day. So what would each of you say to someone listening? Because sometimes all it takes is one word to reach someone, to wake them up. And so each one of you may have that word for someone today. So what would that be? What would you challenge them to do every day?
I would say action, move. You know, I think it's important for, no matter on where you are on that body that Pastor mentioned, whether you're the thumb or you're the heart being impacted, you got to move. And that might be picking up the phone and asking, how can I help? Or picking up the phone and asking, how can I get help? Either which way, I don't want us to be silent participants. We need to move, we need to activate,
I
we
like
need to
that.
figure out, because everybody has a role to do something. So that would say move.
My word would be connect. So no matter what's going on, you're having your best, you're having your worst, connect. Or in between, right? Because even if it's not for you, it's for that other part of this whole island. And that, I think, that's our greatest asset in any company, in any location, in any family. It's the people. So connect.
Nice.
Y'all know my one word has been from the beginning.
Faith.
Yes. If you read anything I do, you can ask Laurie at the end of my voicemail, at the end of everything I say, keep the faith. For me, that stands big because my own experience. So faith plays a great role because it's, again, what we say, it's what you don't see, but what you expect and what you believe now.
I'm gonna cheat. I don't have a word.
Let me guess, it's a quote.
It might actually, it could be movement, right? So that's going back to what you shared, madam. So the way out is through. We have to keep going, but it's also okay to take a time out to reflect, and maybe that's my word,
I
right?
like that.
So don't be frozen, but you can take a pause, take a breath, collect your thoughts, your mind, and think before you act.
Nice.
And my word is community. So stay engaged, stay connected.
Yes.
And some of the next time you're going to share with us, so we'll have more info on what's going on with the different organizations.
Yes. So Lori's in on that too, and we're moving. So we are gathering our different community organizations, government agencies, and we are activating to support our community. And so we're meeting next week, and as soon as we have that together, instead of doing things in silos and a whole bunch of one events, we're going to operate and work together as one community in faith and connecting with each other. Reflecting on what is needed, and we're going to take action to support those that need it and make sure that it is in a productive way. So even if the shutdown is not if words are important, even when the shutdown is terminated and we're back on track, we're still going to have it because there's still people who are impacted, and they're not going to magically erase all of their challenges. And so hopefully by next week we'll have some detailed information on how everyone can participate, or how you can come and get some support from that.
Wonderful. So ladies, thank you all so very much.
Yes,
thank you.
And
Thank
enjoyed our
you.
conversation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Want to leave some parting words with our listening audience?
Oh, I thought that was it. Okay.
Sure. I would just say, and it's a quote, but I'll from Maya Angelou: people forget what you said and what you did, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. So that's on me. That's on you. Like, you have control over that. So
I would basically let the community know that we're here for them. Our doors are open at Twigs Ministry. I tell people all the time, you can always call, always walk in. And so we would make ourselves available, even if y'all have to utilize our place for any meetings or gatherings. I'm for real. Any, fun resource that you want to bring there, and we get our team together, we're open to help. And I want to let you know that we're available for you, especially if you need prayers and for you to keep the faith.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in to Workforce Waves, and we'll see you next week, Thursday.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Thank you. God bless.
Look, I'm trying to scoop it. We don't have wheels. That was great, ladies. Y'all can come sit on my couch anytime.
Wow.
Or at the beach. That's a better view.